In what ways does your media product use, develop or challenge forms and conventions of real media products? For our A2 coursework, we had to create a short 5-minute film along with a film poster and film review as a collection of a promotional package. Before forming any ideas for our own short film, we had to research into typical codes and conventions found in other short films, as well as doing research into the types of micro-elements and macro-elements commonly found in short films. The micro-elements are camera work, sound editing and mise-en-scene, and are focused on any similarities seen across the short films. And these micro-elements are what forms the macro-elements, which are genre, narrative, audience and representation. All films draw inspiration from another, and Our Reaper is no exception to this. One of the many short films I decided to analyse was The Moonlight Man. The Moonlight Man is a short horror film that focuses on a woman just looking to go home, but ends up getting creeped out and then what we think is killed by the antagonist. We first see the reveal of the woman, where it cuts to her using a mid-shot to show the protagonist straight away due to the limited time. This is the first inspiration used in our short film of how we revealed our own protagonist too. The use of the antagonist is also similar in The Smiling Man, but is also similar to Scream, due to being a figure that is dark in clothing and is just seen by the audience first and then eventually by the protagonist. Our antagonist is more like the Smiling Man due to not having to kill and see excessive blood, but just have the thought of the idea. This type of antagonist then appeals to a larger audience due to no gore, which people are uncomfortable to watch, therefore appealing to a wider audience and appealing more to our main age bracket of 15 to 24. Mise-en-scene is the context that reveals the genre and location, as well as everything that is going on the screen. Our setting is a house, a commonly used location for a horror film, but also a common place everyone is familiar with. Therefore, the use of lighting, which is dark due to being set at night, creates a sense of attack on what is familiar to the audience, hence creating that unease and suspenseful feeling due to the sense of the unknown. We wanted to keep the setting in one place, due to being a common stereotype of short films. This makes the narrative easy to follow and not overcomplicate it for the viewers. In The Moonlight Man, the setting is in one place, but however, the film involves moving around this one location. Therefore, this is what we have done in ours, and used the house and moved around in the house. There is also an antagonist dressed in dark clothing to exert his danger, as black connotes evil. Therefore, then white connotes innocence, which is why our protagonist is dressed in white. This is stereotypically used in horrors and evident in our film as it portrays the message intended. The Moonlight Man focuses on the young lady who appears to be a stereotypical woman in films, due to Laura Mulvey's male gaze. This is where males see the woman as an object or something good to look at. She is seen to be wearing makeup, light clothing and have high heels on. This was a heavy influence on our short film Reaper. Seen throughout The Moonlight Man, the lady appears to be alone. This creates a sense of isolation for the character, forming the feel that she is vulnerable. The use of only diegetic sounds at the start is also to emphasise the key theme of isolation. This inspired us when creating our short film, where the use of her alone and really only diegetic sounds are heard to create her isolation. In addition, a large house in the middle of nowhere also creates her being alone and makes her vulnerable and more isolated. Leading on, a non-diegetic soundtrack in the background helps to emblematise the character's feelings. So in this short film, The Moonlight Man, the original music soundtrack is used to represent the character's emotion of being frightened and worried. We then took this into our regular film and used the Neary soundtrack to show her emotions of being worried, which later develops to her being panicked and scared. The non-diegetic sounds can also be there to create the feeling of the presence of the antagonist. This again was shown in The Moonlight Man, therefore we took this into our own film. Therefore we used the build-up of the non-diegetic sounds to create the presence of Grimm. There is also no or little dialogue throughout the short film. This is the case in many I analysed too, therefore again highlighting the isolation of the main character. We definitely took this into our short film. The use of diegetic and non-diegetic sounds are used to indicate and highlight the reaction. So our main target audience being 15 to 24, which when you're younger have a shorter attention span, so the sound draws them in and makes them confusion. Moving on to editing, a high use of continuity editing was present in short films, and in The Moonlight Man it shows examples of this. The reason is the short amount of time available, so the shots have to follow, and with the continuity editing it makes it easy to follow, and therefore the narrative is clear. We do not want to be exposed to too many aspects, otherwise the narrative will get complex and takes the suspense and build up to action irrelevant. Therefore, in Reaper, there is clear evidence of this in order to be successful as building that unease for the audience. There's also a range of jump cuts to quickly show the action to take place, but in a concise way to ensure time was not wasted and shots were not too long so the film maintains its entertainment. For the camera work used in The Moonlight Man, we see a large amount of close-up. The reason is to show that characters' emotions or reactions, but it can also highlight key iconography. This was again similar in most horror films and most short films I analysed. So in The Moonlight Man, the car keys is a good example of this. And another camera angle used is the point of view shot. Lots of point of view shots are used across short films to show the perspective of another. Tracking shots are also highly used solely for the reason that it creates suspense. Tracking shots is a main reason for the suspense caused in the majority of horror films, hence why we used it in Reaper. Watching a variety of short films, I mainly encountered the genres of drama and horror. The reason is because of the limited time to convey a story, typically using the equilibrium theory put forward by Todorov. This is why it is hard to create action and adventure and comedy films. Following on from this research, we decided to choose the genre of horror with a subgenre of thriller, and we intended to follow Todorov's equilibrium theory. However, we did not have all steps to use this, so we didn't use this theory. However, we first start with the equilibrium where Sola is arriving home and babysits Seb. Then she puts him to sleep and then she's on her phone and laptop and making tea. Then there's the disruption where the antagonist pops up outside the window where she's sitting at, and also outside the house when she goes to investigate suspicious noises. She then recognises the disruption in the equilibrium when she encounters Grim whilst taking the rubbish out. This is where she leaves Seb vulnerable. There is no attempt to repair the equilibrium and no equilibrium or settlement. The killer is still loose and the victims are dead. We also cast the young actors to appeal to young people, therefore reaching out to our target audience of 15 to 24. Film poster. In my film poster I used a colour scheme of majority black with a white and glitch subcolours. This connotes Grimm's evilness and power, which is superior to Sola. The glitch is used to do the effect Grimm has throughout the film, with him appearing and disappearing, and also when the glitch effect is actually present in the film when he pops out outside the house and when he pops up at the end when he kills the victims. The poster only reveals Grimm's face to keep the sense of the unknown and relate to his dark figure. This is similar to the Smiling Man poster, showing only parts of the face to keep his identity unknown. Another convention is the use of a close-up to show a key character in the film. This is used in the Red Balloons poster, where the boy's face is present. The face also takes up the majority of the frame to emblematise its importance. The credits are also done similar to both Red Balloons and the Smiling Man's posters. This is being at the bottom, beneath the picture and beneath the title. This is so that they're tiny compared to the title and picture to make sure they don't take focus off them. The institution logo and release and viewing information are also small and in the corners due to maintaining the focus on Grimm. This is to create an enigma. Using Bath's Enigma code, by doing this, the audience will be intrigued and not a lot of the story is revealed, meaning that it will attract audience and form a mystery which draws the audience in. The title also remains central to draw focus to the name, and also then highlights Grimm. It is in a sinister font and portrays death, relating to Grim Reaper, therefore it circles the meaning within our film. It's called Reaper, and our antagonist is called Grim. The font is rigid and uneven to create the uneasy feeling. Film review. My film review is based on a review that would belong to the magazine Empire. It first follows the format of a big picture to draw the attention, and in the review lies beneath. It takes a 50-50 split. My poster then applies with Empire's posters with the page number in the top left hand corner. The number is large and consists of the same font. It also includes the line next to it to make the signature of Empire. It also has Empire's trademark at the bottom of the page with the number again and in Empire's logo with the date. This is to show when the review was published. It also includes the title in bold black and large underneath the picture with the number of stars below to state the rating of the film review. It then has the directors and cast in the film followed by the plot, which is marked in blue and with the word plot being in bold to show the heading. This is all underlined to show the beginning of the review starts beneath. The review consists of, in Empire's magazine, it has a brief overview but not too much detail to avoid spoilers. As well as this, it then highlights the good aspects and bad aspects depending on the rating of the review. The language tends towards informal writing where slang is sometimes used. This is due to the audience of their magazine. The review is then signed off by a name of the reviewer at the end, which is in bold and blue. A verdict then is written below, all in blue, and the verdict is in bold. Lastly, the picture always has a caption, and as you can see, the style of their captions has just a simple description of the picture and has cornered in the top left where two lines go down the left hand side and on top